Welcome to this presentation of UPSL Soccer Action, live on YouTube and presented by the Atlantic Soccer Media Group.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this UPSL Georgia Conference Premier Division Round 1 playoff matchup. It's Georgia Athletic taking on Kalonji Pro Profile. At this time in the stands, please rise for the playing of our national anthem. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this UPSL Georgia Conference Premier Division action. It's round one of the playoffs. It's Kalonji Pro Profile taking on Georgia Athletic. Larry Weaver and Andre Bomar here to bring you all the action today here at Charlie Jordan Field on the campus of Shiloh High School in Snellville, Georgia. And we have a very interesting one here, Dre. We have first seed taking on 8th seed.
Yeah, Kalonji is going to be heavily favored in this one. They won the encounter in the regular season 7-1. So Georgia Athletic have a lot to come back from to change that result and make any advancement in the playoffs. So it'll be interesting to see what Coach McKelly has in store strategically to try to counteract the massive firepower that Kalonji Pro Profile provides.
And this is the fourth of the matchups in the playoffs here in the UPSL Georgia Conference. You see that yesterday, Georgia Revolution defeating Lamino, Georgia 3-1. Dalton, Georgia falling to UMA in penalties last night at Dalton High School. And if you did not watch that, you missed out on one of the craziest matches I think I've ever watched in the history of UPSL soccer.
Yeah, I thought the match Dalton United played against Atlanta United a few seasons ago was the craziest, but that one is trumped by this game. A game that went, it ebbed and flowed, went back and forth. You think, one team's going to have a handle and a result, then a moment later, fortunes changed, turned the other way. And it did that in the extra time period as well as the penalty kicks, which decided it for UMAFC.
And then Potros FC just defeated Pachuca, Georgia 5-0. This will be the last match of round one. We'll know after tonight's matchup who is going where for round two. We'll see if Georgia Athletic has anything for Kalonji or if Kalonji is going to do what they've done all season, which is just march through the playoffs. I can tell you that the one team that Kalonji Pro Profile wouldn't want to face is Georgia Revolution, the only team that has defeated them in this season.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see how that comes out. And I think this division playoff is so wide open, especially when we get down to the semifinal level here. Any of these teams can take it on to the Nationals. So plenty of intriguing matchups to remain and look forward to.
Look really quickly at the lineups for today's matchup. Keep an eye on Kareem Tamimi and his goal-scoring partner, Owanja Medard, scored a brace in 3 straight matches for Kalonji Pro Profile. They're going to be in the all-white kits. They're going to be moving from right to left. They're going to get us underway, and then it'll be Georgia Athletic in the all-red kits moving from left to right. Looks like we have some last-minute roster verifications going on the Kalonji bench with the 4th official, just so that we get you up to date before we get underway.
Yeah, I want to see who's going to step up for Georgia Athletic too. We know they have a very competent goalkeeper in Daniel Delgado. He's going to have his hands full against the firepower that Kalonji Pro Profile does bring. But can the likes of Ethan Ruiz and Chavaria and Hernandez, can they do something offensively for Georgia Athletic that they were not able to do in the first encounter?
And a conversation going on with Georgia Athletics. Hernandez. We'll see where we're standing at the moment. I don't know if it's on the Kalonji bench or if it's on the Georgia Athletic bench where they're trying to verify. I do see I think what it is, Dre, is I think that there was a personnel that was on Kalonji's bench that wasn't on the roster, and they are being removed as you see him coming across the field here with the center official. Good to see the referees doing their job, making sure that anybody that's on the bench on both sides are on the roster. Just because you're in the staff of the organization, if you're not on the roster here in the UPSL, you can't be on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that is being strictly enforced right now. There are 5 staff members that are available to be on the sideline. However, they have to be registered with the team, and of course the rest are the players. Are 20 some odd players. 7 subs are allowed during the game. And yeah, I don't know what's going on there. This is, you know, at this stage of the season, you think everybody is pretty solid in that. I don't know what.
Gamesmanship, if nothing less. Center official and the fourth official just having a conversation before we get underway. Now,
it's always something.
Always something. Now just about ready to get underway.
Here we go. Ready for some football now. Okay.
And it's going to be Georgia Athletic that's going to get us underway. They're in the red kits moving from left to right. Originally it was Kalonji on the ball, but they've switched it. It'll be Georgia Athletic that'll get us started.
All right.
All the talk is done. Now it's time to play. 90 minutes. Here we go. Underway here at Shiloh Stadium.
And as I always say, we always want to look and see how the teams start out. You know, we know how that Kalonji sets up. They like to control possession, short passes, but they have a very quick counterattack game as well. And Georgia Athletic, not sure how they want to approach this game. We'll have to wait and see.
That ball cleared out by Grant Carr to Kareem Tamimi. He heads it forward, but not able to get through to Gutierrez. He sends it forward. Ruiz battling there with Demise. Interesting setup. Demise has been partnering with Kamani Irving in the center back role. He's moved over to the right back, and Grant Carr, who's traditionally the left back, is taking over the center back role with Kamani Irving. And Grant Carr traditionally wears number 3, but tonight he's wearing number 5. So that's a change even in the roster that we received before kickoff.
Yeah, that's the thing at this level. You know, we experience this on game after game, how, you know, we'll get a roster. If we do get a roster, sometimes it's not accurate or it changes at the last moment. So, you know, the viewers, just be patient with us as we try to figure this out.
Hernandez with the foul there, but it'll be quickly back underway by Kalonji Pro Profile. Chari is in that left back role where he's traditionally been these last few matches. Long ball, trying to get it forward, able to get it up there to Medard. Medard has it. Right at the tip of the box, slides it over to Kalen Kalonji. He takes a whack at it, but he's deflected off of the Georgia Athletic man. No foul there on Povolatsky. Makes it to Daniel Tumasi. Daniel will go back to Kamani Irving, who one-times it over to Grant Carr. He's able to control that as it was a bit awkward. Tiente and Tumasi. Tiente doing double duty tonight, being both a coach and a captain and a player. Povolatsky through the midfield, sliding across, trying to get it to Chari. Chari is not going to get there to go out for a throw. Keep an eye here at Charlie Jordan Field. It's that gray line, that is the touch line. Maybe hard to see on the screen. It's a touch line that is very, very hard to see here in the booth.
Yeah, you know how I feel about these mixed-use fields, but unfortunately that's generally what we have to work with at this level. So few soccer-specific facilities in the area that are available for these teams to use, so we're left with this.
That ball deflected off of Athletic. It'll be a Kalonji throw, quickly taken. Tiente settles it, releases it back to Irving. Irving's going to go forward straight to Kareem Tamimi. Good turn by Tamimi, trying to slot it through the two defenders, not able to do so. Cleared away by Georgia Athletic. You know, we talk time and time again about just how silky smooth Kareem Tamimi is. If I could spit it out. His feet never stop moving. And
yeah, the quickness he has and the ability to change direction, I think, is the real quality he possesses.
Demise will go all the way back to recover this for Kalonji. Give it to Lionel Sakui, who takes over goalkeeping responsibilities after the loss of David Magala earlier in the season to a tragic accident. That ball not able to get to Tomasi. It's going to be deflected all the way back to Delgado.
And of course, David Magala was given the goalkeeping award, which it will be named consequently going forward. And for this award, the ASMG that gives, it's not just stats. It's the intangibles, the command of the area, his influence in the team, these types of things. And David just did an outstanding job before his tragic passing. And it's fitting to give him the award for this season. And it'll be named after him henceforth.
Here's an opportunity for Kareem Tamimi. He gets past the defense, into the box, takes a shot, back of the net.
Oh,
no, hit the side netting.
Yep.
That
you saw the net bulge.
You saw the net bulge, but it was a side netting. Caught me off guard.
No, it did look like it went in at first glance, but you saw it rebound outside.
We'll take a look at the replay here in just a few moments, I should say, as Delgado is quickly getting ready to release this. That one, can Ruiz get past Grant Carr? No, but he's able to get it, and that one's going to be deflected off of Carr. Now let's take a look at that opportunity by Kareem Tamimi. Look at this run.
Wow.
Yeah, you could see that
So
it just hit that side. He had it in the right idea, just not in proper
Accuracy a little bit
location.
off. Yep.
This will be the first corner of the match. It'll be for Georgia Athletic.
And these are the situations Georgia Athletic are going to have to take advantage of, because they're not going to get very many in this game, is my guess. So you want to take full advantage of the attacking options you have when they are presented. Now they're going to check the ball, I think.
Check the ball, make sure that backup Voight ball, Voight, the initial batch ball sponsor of the UPSL, make sure that it has met proper inflation before we get this in-swinger, as the sun is beginning to set into the taker's eyes. Here comes the in-swinger, headed away by Kalonji. Tamimi trying to get there, not going to get there in front of the athletic man. Chavaria got there just a step in front of Tamimi, but he continues to battle. He's sitting there battling with Hernandez. That one is going to go out. It'll be a goal kick. Good one-man work there by Kareem Tamimi to earn that goal kick.
Again, the tenaciousness of the defense is almost as, brutal for KSA as their attack. So it's a complete team. Georgia Athletic are going to have to contend with that all game long.
Like we said, going into this match, Kalonji Pro Profile, they were first seed in the Georgia Conference regular season, lifted the regular season trophy here in the Georgia Conference, something that they've done multiple times. That ball goes out for a throw. They ended the season 10 wins, 1 loss, 2 draws. They scored 55 goals. Only allowed 14, a goal differential of plus 41. This Georgia Athletic team, they came into this match in 8th seed. They were 5-4-4. They scored 24 goals, but allowed 20 goals. They have a goal differential of plus 4. That is a huge difference between these two teams, Dre.
Yeah, it is amazing to see the gulf from the 1st seed to the 8th seed, but that's why they're in the places they are. But, we have a history of upsets that can and do happen in this division, but Georgia Athletic come back the other way.
Here's an opportunity for Georgia Athletic. Chavaria trying to get it forward. It's bouncing back through, bounce back to him, but he fouls Pawlowski. It'll be a free kick for Kalonji Pro Profile.
I remember a couple of seasons ago, Atlanta City, who's no longer with the UPSL, But they were an 8th seed that won the division champion or playoffs and went on to the Nationals, so it can happen.
As of right now, the only upset via just on paper would be the 5th seed UMA falling to 4th seed Dalton. Right now, the 2nd seed Potros and the 3rd seed Revs are through. If Kalonji Pro Profile wins this match, they would take on UMA here at Shiloh Stadium, and Potros would take on Georgia Revs over at Marietta High School. If Georgia Athletic were to win, then Georgia Athletic would be taking on Potros, and Georgia Revolution would be taking on UMA.
What a story for UMA this season. Will they be the Cinderella story? After such an amazing result in the first round at Dalton, a game they looked to be on the way out of in the 89th minute before scoring 2 goals to take it to extra time.
And that match was amazing because it just kept going back and forth and back and forth. Just when you thought, okay, the game is over, because you look at it, in that match, UMA was down by 2 goals almost in stoppage time. It was about the 89th minute, and it was.
And then at the basically in stoppage times, each of the halves of the extra time goals were scored.
Yeah, it was just. That was the craziest match I've ever watched.
All right, there's another stoppage here, and I don't know
we have another
why.
stoppage in play as we have that same staff member trying to go into the stands on that far side, and the referee's again telling him that he has to come over here to the near side.
Yeah, they don't want people behind the teams when there's availability across the field. That's something that's...
So we will have some extra time in stoppage from this.
Kind of kills off the game a little bit.
It'll be a throw for Georgia Athletic. We're in the 12th minute. It's Kalonji Pro Profile 0, Georgia Athletic 0. Center official is just waiting until the staff member gets to a place where he feels is sufficient enough to get us back underway.
Yeah, it looks to be a Kalonji staff member. I don't know why he is inserting himself into a problem here. They need to let the game go. This could have a negative effect on his own team.
Absolutely. Grant Carr trying to get there.
Yeah, they're going to call
And
that
he did
foul.
not. It was a foul on Kasut. Take a look at that tackle by Carr. We finally get back underway in the 13th minute. You see this ball coming across. Kasut on the run, and Grant Carr just a few microseconds behind him. This will be a free kick for Georgia Athletic. It's about 25 yards out. Not a whole lot of space to get up and down over the wall, but it would be interesting to see if he could get it around the wall and on frame. And it's Kasut who's over the ball. Straight through, right into Sakui.
Boy, that deflection could have had the opposite effect there, but it fell nicely for Sakui.
He'll roll it out to Kamani, who'll go to Carr. Carr, the wirely veteran, he's had opportunities to play professionally in Germany several years ago. Comes back into the Kalonji Pro Profile system. Demise gets around the challenge, doesn't get around the second one, but he is going to earn the foul, as that was a challenge by Marquez. Number 3 was battling with Ruiz, was able to get past him. And that second challenge with Marquez is where it went wrong for Georgia Athletic. Tamimi trying to regain possession, wasn't able to do so. Now Georgia Athletic in the midfield. Praska goes over to Kasut. Kasut trying to go long past Demise. Demise a few seconds behind, and that was a poor back pass to Lionel. And that will be a corner for Georgia Athletic, the second corner of the match for them.
I got to ask, did that stoppage and play interrupt the sort of rhythm that Kalonji was trying to build? They had a lot of possession. They were in full control, but ever since that stoppage, they have been a little bit slow in the challenge and a little disjointed here.
Yes, if anything, it has hampered Kalonji Pro Profile. I don't know exactly what that staff member is doing. You know, Kalonji Pro Profile, you know, the Kalonji soccer system, their academy system, is a very vast system. They play in multiple different organizations at multiple levels. It'll be Hernandez who is over the ball. This will be an in-swinger from Georgia Athletic. Just getting everybody lined up in the box. Here comes the in-swinger. Bouncing through, but it lands in Sakui's grip, and he releases quickly. Not able to get it to Tamimi. It'll roll out for a throw here as we roll through 16 minutes.
Looks like Sakui wanted to start a break there, but he didn't connect with anyone. There's no linkage play right now for Kalonji. And they need to get that composure back. Georgia Athletic, again, when you have these opportunities, take full advantage of them, because you don't know how often you'll have them.
Medard wins it back for Kalonji. Nice long ball, but that one will go to Kamani Irving. And it's one of the things about Kalonji Pro Profile. They are a fantastic organization. Sometimes can feel almost like an all-star team. And there are times where that mentality gets the better of them and the communication starts to falter. As you see a foul committed on by Kalonji on Georgia Athletic on Hernandez. This one's gonna be about 50 yards out. But you know, like I'm saying, Dre, sometimes because you have so many high-level players on that Kalonji squad, they sometimes forget to communicate with one another, and there's gaps. You saw that happen when they took into the national tournament and they took on Soda City. It was a match in which they were winning 2-0 at halftime and ended up losing that match.
Yeah, sometimes the criticism of Kalonji is that they do have a lot of talent, but oftentimes they play as individuals and not so much as a team. And I think that aspect of it was exposed twice against Soda City, who didn't have the talent levels Kalonji, but team-wise, they seemed to be more cohesive and organized. And that was the difference in that game.
Yeah, hard bump there on Tamimi by number 18, Mourinho. And back underway with a possession of Kalonji Pro Profile through center circle. Tony Tiente gives it to Povolatsky, who gives it right back to him. Kalonji Pro Profile like to play a typical 4-3-3 system. Good ball forward from Georgia Athletic. Tiente wins it and earns the foul. This Georgia Athletic team sometimes looks like a 4-3-2-1 or a 4-2-3-1. It kind of varies from time to time.
Yeah, players like Tamimi will have a roving type of position where they can change positions with other players during the match. And Makes it very hard to defend against.
Demise steps in front of that pass, loses it. Now Praska gives it to Kasut. Kasut lays it off. We'll go back to Ruiz. Pavlotsky was able to take it off of Ruiz, but it'll roll out for a throw. Tiente will go back to Kamani Irving and Grant Carr. Looks to go long, trying to get it over to Medard. He's able to flick it on, and it'll roll out, but it'll be a goal kick. He was able to get a touch on it and roll it forward, but chose not to try to run it down, so it'll be a goal kick for Delgado.
21 minutes in, no score so far. I think Georgia Athletic will be happy with that so far in this match, and they're going to be looking to try to get something positive going, perhaps get a goal. But if Kalonji Pro Profile get themselves together, it'll change the nature of this game. But right now, they don't quite look in sync.
Note that here in the Georgia Conference, it's high seed that has home field advantage throughout the playoffs. So if Kalonji Pro Profile will be able to find a victory, we'll be right back here next week to Charlie Jordan Field at the campus of Shiloh High School. We know that Potros FC have already earned the right to be home at Marietta High School for the next round. They're just awaiting on who they're going to play.
Yeah, if Kalonji wins this match, they will host UMA FC next week, and Georgia Revolution will go to Marietta High School to play Potros.
And like you said, Dre, that Kalonji Pro Profile defeated Georgia Athletic 7-1, but it was week one of this spring season.
Yeah, and Georgia Athletic have improved vastly from that first week in the season.
Yeah, that Georgia Athletic team, they really brought it on after that week one.
Oh, nice tackle.
Tony Tiente giving it to Kalen Kalonji. He tried to make the turn, able to do so, gives it over to Daniel Tomasi. He sends it forward. Kalen thought he was offside, so he just held up.
Yeah, you can see what he was trying to do, come down that right flank, and they might have been able to get a counter going.
Because after that first week one loss, week two was a win, 5-0 against SSL, and week three was a 3-1 win over Fountain City before falling to Albion SC Atlanta. So they recovered quite well after taking on Kalonji Pro Profile. Now, Kalen Kalonji will send one skyward, but Delgado will get there to control it.
Yeah, the longer this game goes scoreless, the more confidence I think Georgia Athletic will have. But the question is, will they be able to do anything about it? And will Kalonji take it up a notch to a higher gear? If they do, like I say, you know, the nature of this game could turn to Kalonji's favor. But right now, it's sort of toe-to-toe.
And that'll be a foul on Medard as he went through Hernandez.
Yeah.
The Lions holding strong against Kalonji Pro Profile so far. And that's one of the things about Kalonji Pro Profile. Once they score, they have a tendency to score in succession.
Yeah. The goals can come in bunches for them, and That's the danger. I mean, even if you get ahead, you know, Pro Profile's not a team that panics. They have so much talent from back to front. Anybody can score at any time, so you have to really play the full 90 against them, because once they get rolling, it can be a steamroller.
Good ball forward from Georgia Athletic, but that one is going to be controlled by Sakui. Georgia Athletics' last regular season match was a 0-0 draw against North Georgia United. That result knocked North Georgia United out of the playoffs. A team that was firmly at the top of the table throughout the first half of the season. And it wasn't until they took on Georgia Revolution to where their season really took a turn for the worst.
Yeah, they never quite recovered from that. They won their first 4 games, were in first place early in the season, and they never won a game after that. They had 6 consecutive losses after 2 draws before this draw at the end of the season with Georgia Athletic. But Coach K, you know, he's very positive. He's looking forward to, you know, resetting everything, setting the foundation, and coming back next season to improve upon what happened this season. He, you know, talking to him, he feels like he knows what the issues were that turned their fortunes in a negative way, and he's looking to correct those things. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next season with North Georgia.
Yeah, it sounded like having a conversation with Coach K for North Georgia. Sounded like he'll take a day or 2 off, and then it'll be right back into recruitment and getting prepared for the fall season, as the fall season will kick off in mid-August here in the Georgia Conference. 2 teams being relegated in the Premier Division after the regular season, FC Birmingham and Albion SC Atlanta.
Yeah, the surprise there, I think, is FC Birmingham. I think that at the beginning of the season, I think the expectation would have been for a playoff place, but they really never got started and ended up only with 4 points at the end of the season. Again, another situation similar to North Georgia. They have to reset their foundation, rebuild, and start again. And Albion, they had an opportunity. They did have a game where they forfeited and were deducted 3 points, which made a big difference for them. But with 3 games to go, all they needed was 3 points, and they lost all 3 of those games. So that's the relegation form.
That ball headed back from Mourinho to Delgado. Delgado trying to go quickly to Kasut. He receives his initial pass to Montero, trying to look long for Ruiz. Ruiz gets around Demise. He's going to earn the foul.
Might need a yellow for that. And
he is going to get a yellow for that. I was expecting that as well, Dre. Take a look at this foul, which results in the yellow card here in the 28th minute.
Yeah, good through ball to him. I think Mazzari, he pushed that ball forward, and I think he saw, well, he's going to get past me, and just took him out purposely. So pretty professional foul there.
As professional as you can get for Demise in the 28th minute. It's still 0-0 between Kalonji Pro Profile and Georgia Athletic here, Charlie Jordan Field on the campus of Shiloh High School, Snellville, Georgia. Here comes free kick from Georgia Athletic, punched away by Lionel Sakui. Tiente trying to get it forward, not able to do so. Kasut, he'll take a shot, deflected, but controlled by Sakui. We told you that we have 2 teams that were relegated. We will have 2 teams that were promoted from Division I. We already know one of them, Atlanta Fire. They have earned promotion, defeating Middle Georgia in a shootout, 2-1. Middle Georgia went back into the playoff system to try to get promotion the hard way. Unfortunately, they fall out of those playoffs, and they will stay in Division I for another season.
Yeah, they came very close this season. Had two different opportunities, one with the promotion playoff against Atlanta Fire. They lost that narrowly 2-1. But Atletico Buford really put a stamp on authority there with an 8-0 victory over them.
Atletico Buford, a brand new team here in the UPSL Georgia Conference. Long ball here from Georgia Athletic. Sakui's got to come out and clear it acrobatically as he was several yards out of the box. Be a throw for Georgia Athletic as we are getting close to the end of 30 minutes. We're going to have a hydration break here in the 30th minute. Take a look at the weather conditions here in Snellville, Georgia today. It was a scorcher of a day. Currently 87 degrees as we are at 8:38 Eastern Standard Time. Feels like 93 degrees. Add on at least 5 degrees on that turf. So it's close to 100 degrees down there on the turf at kickoff. Only 4-mile-an-hour wind. We've had no rain for several days. The last few weeks of the regular season was pretty much a tsunami level as it was raining almost every single day here in Georgia.
Yeah, we have a heat wave to look forward to this coming week, but we do have rain in the forecast as well, so hot and humid is going to be on the forecast, which is normal for this region at this time of the season.
This is how we are entered at the end of the regular season. These are the teams that made it into the playoffs. And you see how tight it was throughout the standings. Kalonji Pro Profile barely held off Potros FC. Georgia Revolution right on their heels. And Dalton and UMA were tied at 23 points. It was the head-to-head during the regular season that set the table against those two, and UMA comes up and gets revenge on them in that penalty shootout. And Pachuca and Georgia Athletic, the same story. Head-to-head competition is what put them where they're at. And I have to say, Georgia Athletic right now feel like they got the better end of that deal, not having to go over to Marietta High School and taking on Potros, who put 5 past Pachuca. So we're going to go into the 33rd minute with the score still 0-0 between Georgia Athletic and Kalonji Pro Profile. It'll be a throw for Georgia Athletic to be taken by Mourinho. He's able to get it forward. Kasut chests it down. I think the big thing for Georgia Athletic, Dre, is no Marin in the lineup. He's really been their go-to goal scorer throughout this season.
Yeah, you can use him in a game like today especially. But so far they've, like I say, been battling up toe-to-toe with Kalonji. But they do need to try to get a little bit more attack going because they're going to have to score.
And this Kalonji Pro Profile team has a significant amount of players on the bench that can be game changers.
So far, much better than the match that occurred between these two during the regular season. But you have a feeling Kalonji could take it up a notch, but Georgia Athletic still poised to get something going here in this first half.
Athletic with possession. Hernandez cannot get that one past Daniel Tomasi. Kalen Kalonji Able to get around him, able to get around Kasut. Hits the brakes. Really holding off Kasut, lines it over to Tamimi. He's not going to be able to get there. Tamimi almost pulled that off. Former Atlanta United 2 player. Comes back home to Kalonji Pro Profile. Made his UPSL debut with Seas United before coming over to Kalonji Pro Profile. Kalen Kalonji sends one long. Delgado stays in the box. Tamimi controls it in the corner. Makes it around the defender, into the box, slots it across, nobody there.
That was amazing. He looked like he was cornered on that flag there. Made a move around the defender, just left him in the dust. Got the crossover. Unfortunately for him, nobody was there to tap in.
Take a look at the replay again.
Did you see? He just swings around there, left him for dead, goes through. Oh, just beyond the tap in. Delgado would have been stranded in goal.
Really good opportunity for Kalonji Pro Profile to take a lead. Just not together on that attack. Delgado gets us back underway. Tiente heads it. Tamimi finishes the control for Kalonji. Goes back to Grant Carr, a little slow, but he's able to get it to Kamani Irving. And that'll be a foul on Demise. The only thing I can say for Kalonji Pro Profile right now, Dre, is the weak link right now has got to be Grant Carr. He's almost gotten beaten a couple times.
Yeah, he's the veteran back there, too, for Kalonji. Maybe it's a question of concentration.
Just pace-wise, maybe?
That could be a factor.
Sometimes, you know, when you don't have the pace as the opponent, you've got to use your veteran knowledge, and that'll be a foul on Demise. And it's going to be a yellow card issued to Ruiz here in the 37th minute as a little bit of a, I think just an extended arm by Ruiz.
Yeah, I don't think there was any real intent, but it is going to earn him a yellow card there. But yeah, you're right. You know, as far as, you know, Grant Carr, I think that, you know, even though you don't have the pace, when you have the experience he has, positioning becomes very important. And he has that knowledge.
So that'll be one yellow card per squad here in 38 minutes through. Demise for Kalonji Pro Profile receiving one in the 28th minute. Ruiz for Georgia Athletic getting one in the 37th minute. Kamani Irving gets us back underway. Quickly up to Medard, but Medard was not able to control it. Kasut holding off Demise. That'll go back to Hernandez. Pavlotsky pressures. Comes down here to Marino. Marino will send it forward. Goes between Carr and Kamani Irving, but easily grabbed by Sakui. Rolls it to Tiente and over to Demise. Irving will give it to Pavlotsky. Kalen tries to make the turn, wasn't able to do it the first time, but was able to do it the second time. Challenge by Matthias to earn it back for Georgia Athletic. Kasut Ruiz tried to get a stab on it, wasn't able to get that pass right. Good one time there from Tamimi to Tomasi, but Tomasi sends it too far in front of him, and it'll be a foul on Gutierrez by Tomasi. Intensity starting to build, Dre, here in the 40th minute.
Yeah, it's a lively game. A lot of action in the middle of the field, very little in front of goal right now, but it's a fierce competition between the two sides. Both teams want this.
Good ball forward. Demise is going to be able to be in front of Ruiz. Gives it to Sakui, who releases it, but it'll go out for a throw. As we have about 5 minutes to go in regulation, plus stoppage time, which could be as high as 5 minutes with the delays with the staff and the hydration break. Kalonji gives that to Sakui. He gives it over to Medard. Medard's got space, but he's not able to control it. Somehow that ball just stays with him, and he slides it over to Tamimi! In the back of the net, Kareem Tamimi!
As soon as it got to Tamimi, you thought, oh, that's going to go into the back of the net because he's in acres of space over there. They couldn't close him down quick enough.
And that all comes from Owanja Medard not giving up. Watch this play, Dre.
It goes down the ball. Like you say, the ball kind of stayed with him like a magnet. And there you see Tamimi by himself, plenty of room to turn, shoot, and that's it.
1-0, Kalonji Pro Profile over Georgia Athletic here in the 41st minute.
Yeah, it is so tough because, you know, with Medard going down, he's going to attract a lot of attention. He's a very potent attacking asset for Kalonji. But Tamimi was able to find a lot of space out there, and the ball came over to him, and he had enough time and space to just take his time and put it in the back of the net. Now, what would Georgia Athletic do? Hashtag response time now.
So 5 minutes after you score a goal that you leave yourself open for a counter goal. It's what we like to call hashtag response time. Kalonji Pro Profile having to stay strong for the remainder of this half. Back and forth between Tiente and Carr. He's not able to keep that pass in. Chari sees it roll out for a throw for Georgia Athletic, and it'll be Mourinho come up to take it. Able to get it forward to Kasut. Kasut still with it. Ruiz. And Pavlovsky clears. Medard with the pace. Can he get around Matthias? And a little bit of
Safety
concern there from Tamimi, and Matthias will knock it out for a throw for Kalonji Pro Profile. And a foul there from Chari on Hernandez. That's one of those shin guard checks, as he just kind of lifted his leg and it was knee into shin.
Yeah,
and you could hear Hernandez scream when that came in. You heard that thud.
The referee's going to come take a look, check on the player, but I think he's going to be fine.
And that's one of the things about the game today, Dre, compared to the game back in the day. is the size of the shin guard has just, I don't know if it was just left out in the water for too long and it's just gotten smaller and smaller and smaller.
About the size of a thumbnail.
Yeah, some of these shin guards about the size of a credit card. Center official wasn't ready for that ball. Has it go back. You watch those old shin guards back in the day, and
like the NFL thigh pads.
yeah, they were the size of your entire shin. Now you're lucky to have a credit card for some of these players. Grant Carr heads that. Demise is going to be able to send it forward, but it is still going to go out, and it'll be a throw for Georgia Athletic. Quickly taken. Towards the box, Grant Carr will knock it forward. Tamimi heads it. Kalen Kalonji is able to get it forward. Medard trying to get there. He's able to flick it forward. Kalen Kalonji trying to get in the mix as well. That ball from Delgado is going to be sliced out for a throw as we're through 45.
Stoppage time.
We'll see how many minutes of stoppage time that we will receive. That one will be a Georgia Athletic ball. Went past the line to be a throw. Mourinho looking to give it to Delgado. Instead, he'll go down the line. Chested down to Hernandez. Cut off by Pavlovsky. Tamimi now. He has space. He lights it across to Daniel Tomasi. That one just blasted well off the mark. His spacing was just all wrong to try to make that shot.
He was in a similar position as Tamimi from earlier, but he could not get any control over that shot. Got under the ball. You see there is an acre of space again. Went for power, but didn't have the accuracy.
Had that ball way too far in front of him to try to put the power on it. Sends that one into the next county. Bouncing back and forth, heading by Georgia Athletic. That one will get knocked out for a throw by Chari. Time ticking away for Georgia Athletic here in the first 45.
Can they snag an equalizer before the halftime break?
Thrown in. Tiente puts pressure. He wins another throw for Georgia Athletic as it's deflected off of Tiente. Quickly taken, chested down by Montero into the box, straight up by Kasut, still in possession. Now, Chari, he's going to release it. It's going to get past Kalen Kalonji, but Kareem Tamimi is there. Hits the brakes, thinking about laying it off. He does it. Tomasi! Save!
Did that come off the bar as well? I mean, the post?
That one looked to come off of Delgado. Take a look at the replay.
Oh, that's amazing. Cuts in real nicely there, and again, lots of space.
It did go off of the post.
He tried to keep it in there at the end, but yeah, they're finding a lot of space over there on that right side. Tamimi first, and Medard was there.
It looks to be, I think it's Matthias who's down on the pitch right now, and he pounds the turf in frustration. I think he's okay. I think he was just frustrated that almost let one through.
Yeah, Kalonji could have a couple of more goals by now. If the finishing was a little bit more tight.
We're 3 minutes into stoppage time. Kalonji Pro Profile 1, Georgia Athletic 0. Delgado gets us underway. Bouncing through to Tiente. Pavlovsky wins it. Georgia Athletic win it right back. Montero over to Kasut. Demise with a beautiful tackle. It'll be a throw for Georgia Athletic. They take it quickly. Demise again getting a foot on it, forcing Georgia Athletic back. Kalen Kalonji wins it, holds off the challenge from Montero, and a second time, Povolatsky, he'll get forward to Tamimi, who one times it to Medard, gives it back to Tamimi. Tamimi over to Daniel Tumasi. Tumasi barely keeps it in, still has it. Back to Medard. Medard goes down. He's told to get right back up. Georgia Athletic looking to come forward. Sakui's going to come out of his box, and he'll let that one roll back to him. He'll finally have to kick it out as it's not in the goal before he has to release it. It'll be a throw for Georgia Athletic.
Yeah, I think Sakui was hoping that that ball would get back to the box before he had to clear it.
Mourinho gives it to Praska. Praska over to Kasut. Kasut back to Praska. Praska looking to lift it forward. He does, but it goes right to Sakui. Sakui will go ahead and drop to the pitch. Stand a couple seconds off the clock to Kamani Irving. The captain's going to send a long one to Medard. He's trying to go past, and he's able to. He gets past Gutierrez. He's in the box. Hits it. Saved. Tamimi too far in front of it. Matthews is able to clear it.
Clutch save there by Delgado.
Mourinho gives it over to Hernandez. Hernandez to Kasut through center circle. Over to the far side. That was a great save by Delgado there to keep it from being 2-0. Getting it forward, trying to get it to Mourinho. It's going to go out. It'll be a throw for Kalonji Pro Profile here in the 50th minute. I said that expect at least 5 minutes of stoppage time. We've already gone through 4 or 5. We're in the 6th.
Yeah, it could be any time now.
Chari's going to send it long to Medard. Medard chests it down in center circle. Gives it to Daniel Tumasi. Tumasi sends it forward. Kalen Kalonji's trying to run it down. Will he be onside once he receives it? No. He was in an offside position.
Both players go down there, I think, for cramps.
Yeah. Kalen had to make a long run there. And that will be the end of the first 45. We will go into halftime with the score. Kalonji Pro Profile 1, Georgia Athletic 0. Goal coming from Kareem Tamimi in the 41st minute. And you have to say that Georgia Athletic was trying to hold off Kalonji Pro Profile there as long as they could. And finally, Kareem Tamimi found the back of the net to take the lead. We'll see what both teams can do here at halftime. We'll step away for a few minutes, allow you to get a beverage and a snack. Come back here to Charlie Jordan Field on the campus of Shiloh High School in Snellville, Georgia, for the second 45 here in the first round of the UPSL Georgia Conference Premier Division. It's Kalonji Pro Profile 1, Georgia Athletic 0. And welcome back here to Charlie Jordan Field on the campus of Shiloh High School in Snellville, Georgia. It is UPSL Georgia Conference Premier Division Playoffs, Round 1. Kalonji Pro Profile taking on Georgia Athletic. Kalonji Pro Profile with the 1-0 lead at the half. Goal coming in the 41st minute by Kareem Tamimi. You got to see that goal on the highlights. Only one yellow card on both sides of the pitch. In the 28th minute, a yellow card to Demise, number 22 for Kalonji Pro Profile. Georgia Athletic received one in the 37th minute for number 7 Ruiz. That is where we stand in the first 45 minutes. Larry Weaver alongside Andre Bomar to bring you this UPSL Georgia Conference action. And you see the weather for tonight's matchup. Temperature is still high, 87 degrees. Feels like 94 degrees out there. Wind has gone down just a little bit. Now that the sun has set, the temperature will begin to fall. Look at the fixtures here in the playoffs. This is the 4th game of the 4 matches in round 1. Georgia Revolution defeating Lamino, Georgia 3-1. An amazing battle back and forth with Dalton United and UMA. Went through the extended period, went all the way to penalties. UMA wins in a penalty shootout. Potros FC defeating Pachuca, Georgia 5-0 this afternoon over at Marietta High School. And today's matchup right now, which is currently at the 1-0 lead for Kalonji Pro Profile. So if it stays the way that it does right now, round 2 would be Kalonji Pro Profile taking on UMA. Potros FC would be home to Georgia Revolution. If Georgia Athletic was able to come back and win this match, it would be Potros FC taking on UMA and Georgia Revolution, or Potros FC would be taking on Georgia Athletic, and the Revs would be taking on UMA. It's kind of confusing. If you look at it bracket-wise, it's always highest seed that gets to take on the lower seed in the playoffs in the UPSL. It'll be Kalonji Pro Profile to get us underway in the second 45. They're in the all-white kits moving from left to right. Georgia Athletic in the all-red kits moving from right to left. Thank you so much for watching here on the UPSL Soccer Channel as we are ready to get underway. There's the whistle for the second 45. And Tiente was trying to thread that one to Tumasi down here on the near line, not able to do so. Holds off the challenge, comes over here, trying to slot it through, goes out. It will be a corner for Georgia Athletic. Not had a corner in quite some time. Coming up to take it is Hernandez. It will be an in-swinger. Into the box. Headed. The second opportunity, not able to go in, out for a goal kick. And that ball will go out, will be a throw for Georgia Athletic. Back in play, bouncing off of Kalonji Pro Profile. Pavlotsky sends it forward, not able to get it to Tamimi, but Medard runs that down, tries to send it across, but it makes it to Delgado. Tumasi to Tamimi. He holds up the first attempt, tries to chip it to Medard, not able to get it through the wall of Georgia Athletic players. Kamani Irving wins that ball. He'll earn a foul. We do have a substitution that was made by Georgia Athletic at halftime, trying to verify who came off as number 23, Kebus Marin comes on. If I remember, that's who that is. Just trying to verify all the names and numbers right now. Back underway. That one is going to be knocked out for a throw. Kalonji not able to get that pass right. Now here comes a counterattack from Georgia Athletic, able to get it forward. Lionel Sakui is going to get there before the Georgia Athletic player. Now, Georgia Athletic again with the attack forward. Not able to get that pass right, and it will be ushered out for a goal kick here in the 50th minute. Throw for Georgia Athletic. Good little touch there by Ruiz. Now, trying to do something with it is Georgia Athletic. Trying to get past Tiente. Come back to Hernandez. Hernandez has a chance, but he pulls that one wide, out for a goal kick. Kalen Kalonji sends that one forward, but it's going to go right to Georgia Athletic. Gutierrez went back to Delgado. He comes over to the far side to Ruiz. Ruiz holds off the challenge of Shari. Goes through center circle to Kasut. Kasut cannot get that one past Grant Carr. Tiente. Nice ball forward from him, but it's not going to get past Gutierrez. And it'll go all the way back to Delgado. Delgado's looking to go long. He's able to get it, but Demise able there to cut it off for Kalonji. He'll get a second chance at it. Tiente through center circle, gives it to Pavlotsky. One time from Tiente from Tamimi to Kalen Kalonji over to Odard. Odard gets past the first man, not past the second, and he will foul the Georgia Athletic man. Going to be about 25 yards out.
Yeah, so this second half here, we'll see what kind of adjustments were made by both sides. I think Kalonji, again, still have a couple of gears to go to. Georgia Athletic, I'm not sure what they have left. They seem to be maintaining.
Demise holds that off. Gives it to Tamimi. Tamimi trying to send it forward. So Medard had something to run onto. Can't get it. Goes to Hernandez of Georgia Athletic. Now, through center circle to Kasut. Kasut comes over here to the near side, Praska. Praska comes down the line. Trying to make the turn is Munoz, one of the players that came on at halftime. He's able to get it forward. Ruiz trying to get a one-time from Hernandez. Not able to do so. Kamani Irving gives it to Tiente after receiving it from him. Loses it. Bouncing before Carr and Kamani Irving. And Tamimi will go down and earn the foul. Pavlotsky controls it. Nice ball over here to Demise on the near side. Hits the brakes, lays around, gives it to Kalen Kalonji. He starts to move forward, holding off the challenge. It'll be knocked out. It'll be a throw. Good ball forward to Demise. He holds up, makes the turn, gives it to Kalonji. He earns that throw. Demise gets us back underway to Tamimi. Tamimi will go back to Pavlotsky. Pavlotsky with a solid challenge and earns the foul off of the foul from Montero. Quickly taken, lose it. Montero goes forward. But a bad touch by the Georgia Athletic man, and Tiente will be called for the foul on Ruiz. Right now, Kalonji pro profile trying to be methodical, trying to run it down is Medard. But Matthias just able to stay astride in front of him. Madre, Kalonji pro profile trying to be very methodical right now. Georgia Athletic flailing a little bit with some of their attack and passing. Not very organized right now.
Yeah, I think the composure that Kalonji has is sort of the difference right now. I think Georgia Athletic a little bit more all over the place. They can get something out of that just by being unpredictable, but Kalonji still maintains the control right now.
Long ball from Daniel Tumasi trying to get it forward to Demise. Demise is just going to be able to get there, controls it, almost goes down. It ends up in Delgado's hands. You would think if there was a possibility that Demise would have gone down from that challenge on Praska, he might have earned a penalty.
Yeah, I think he wanted to try to get it in himself, but yeah, he should have maybe looked at going down there because the guy was all over him in the box.
Praska has it. He'll go over and back to Delgado. Munoz didn't have anywhere to go with that ball. Long ball. Ruiz flicks it forward. Now Georgia Athletic, they've got a chance. Kamani Irving trying to hold him up. Good tackle from Kamani Irving. It earns a corner for Georgia Athletic.
Another opportunity for Georgia Athletic, set play in a scoring position.
We have a substitution ready to come on for Kalonji Pro Profile. And it is the end of the day for Daniel Tumasi. We'll see who it is that's coming on to get ready for this outswinger from Georgia Athletic. Into the box, headed away, and it was Blake White who came in. Kalen Kalonji lost that attempt to send the ball forward, and that one just hit with way too much and off the mark. It'll roll all the way out of the stadium.
Yeah, I think kind of a wasted opportunity there. They're probably going to be left with the long-range efforts unless they can get a break to get behind the defenders for KSA, but I think that's going to be a tall order.
Well, that was a like-for-like swap between Tumasi and Blake White.
Everybody's looking for a reason to argue, you know.
There's a lot of the center official wanted the ball that was sent over to Lionel, so Lionel sends it the other one back, and then missed timing between them. So we run the ball down again, but in the end, and the center official is going to control the time clock no matter what.
Yeah, this arguing with the referee is just pointless.
You know, and it was one of the things that we had the opportunity to talk about in the match last night between the Georgia Revs and Lamino, Georgia. It's one of those, we've talked about it ourselves, Dre, in some of the matches that we've covered here in the Georgia Conference. It's a rule that they're looking to implement in the premier, the professional ranks that I'm a big proponent of, and that is that during the match, the only player that can have a conversation with the referees is the captain.
I would welcome that. That would speed the game along as well.
You see these games, whether it's in the professional ranks all the way through the tiers of football, you have these tendencies of players to get into these arguments with the referees, and there's no sense for it in the game. It destroys the continuity of the game. You'd like to see just the captains having the conversations with the staff.
Well, it's a tactic some teams use. They try to get influence on a referee, but when you have a strong referee, all you're doing is antagonizing him to, come against you, and so it's usually not that useful to do. Just play the game.
And it would cut down on dissent yellow cards.
Yeah.
Kamani Irving somehow comes away with the ball as it's starting to get a little chaotic. Medard controls it with a beautiful touch.
Good first touch.
Lays it off to Kalen Kalonji, who's coming in. Gets over to Blake White. And White just misses the goal.
Oh, how did he miss that? That was the goal was begging for that ball. Another good counterattack. You see the transition and how quickly they turn defense into attack here. Medard lays it off there. Kalen Kalonji, and just couldn't get the touch right. Just a little bit off. He knows it as well.
Delgado will get us back underway in the 62nd minute. It's Kalonji Pro Profile 1, Georgia Athletic 0, here at Charlie Jordan Field on the campus of Shiloh High School in Snellville, Georgia. for this UPSL Georgia Conference first round playoff matchup. First seed, Kalonji Pro Profile, and 8th seed, Georgia Athletic.
Last 8th seed to go on to win the division championship was Atlanta City.
And the star player for that Atlanta City team now currently sits on the bench for Kalonji Pro Profile. We might be able to see Thierry Jules get into this match.
Yeah, what a potent asset he would come off of the bench for Kalonji.
Now here comes Kareem Tamimi with a beautiful ball forward. Holds up play, shot. It's in! Kareem Tamimi makes it 2 for Kalonji Pro Profile.
All by himself. Kareem Tamimi, you talked about his speed before, his footwork. It's just nothing they can do to him when he gets his headstrong forward motion there. And there he is again coming in. It's all by himself, just all his footwork. Defender doesn't know what to do, just lays down and the ball just goes right into the back of the net. 2-0. That's going to be a critical goal too, because right now that's going to relax Kalonji. And when they start to feel, like you talked about it in the first half, sometimes their goals come in bunches. And a lot of times it starts with a goal like that. And now they have the confidence and the relaxed feeling to go ahead and move forward. So Georgia Athletic is going to have to stem the tide here.
And it's one of the things that we've talked about before. This Kalonji Pro Profile team is not a team that's designed to take a lead and then park the bus and just defend off the opponent to win. All they know how to do is attack. So this Georgia Athletic team cannot move too far forward and give up everything. And here's an altercation between, and that was just a nasty challenge on Kareem Tamimi, who took that personally. I believe it was Matthias who committed that penalty, or committed that foul.
And that's what I'm talking about. Again, Kalonji, when you get them a foot in the door and get them ahead, they're experts at the mind games. And now Georgia Athletic, who have a history of losing their cool during games, if they lose their cool here, Kalonji can really do some damage to them. So
yeah, this could go really bad for Georgia Athletic if they don't maintain composure. Tiente will send a nice long ball forward,
way up in the air.
But Delgado is easily there to control it.
Yeah, they need to play football here, Georgia Athletic. They're down 2 goals, second half. Can't start getting chippy now. You're just going to throw the game away.
Again, no yellow cards issued since the 37th minute. We're in the 66th. Ball's over here to Munoz. He'll lay it off to Hernandez, trying to work down the line. Able to get there is Mourinho. That ball will be knocked out, will be a corner for Georgia Athletic. Looking to take it short, he does. Into the box, cleared out, and that'll get to do it all over again. As that ball was just slapped out of the field of play by Lionel Sakui. This one will be a more traditional in-swinger. Into the box, headed away. Georgia Athletic hold off the counterattack from Kalonji. Good. Across, mistimed it. Chari will see that out for the throw. That was an opportunity for Georgia Athletic. He just mistimed the header. Just like that, it could have brought one back for Georgia Athletic as they have a substitution ready to go. We'll see who it is that's going to be coming off for Georgia Athletic. I believe they're going to do the throw before they allow the substitution. That ball bounces through, and Georgia Athletic with possession. We'll go all the way back to Delgado. He'll come over here to the near side with Praska. Looking for somewhere to go. Elects to go to Munoz and to Hernandez. Over to the far side. Back to Hernandez. Kamani cuts that off, sends it forward. Kalen Kalonji and Kareem Tamimi are both there. Kalen Kalonji has it, hits it!
Yeah.
Kalen Kalonji with another goal for Kalonji Pro Profile.
Yeah, I can see that one coming. As soon as he got on it, he looked really comfortable to take that. And it's just a really dominating break there. They had all the advantage. You see a long looping clearance over there. And as soon as he touched it there, it just felt like a goal. And Kalen Kalonji, reminiscent of the goal that he scored to win the fans' favorite goal from a couple of seasons ago.
And Delgado got a hand on it, but didn't have enough strength to keep it out of the back of the net. Starting to get some massive changes for Georgia Athletic. Georgia Athletic back underway here in the 69th minute, rolling into the 70th. It is 3-0 Kalonji Pro Profile over Georgia Athletic. 2 goals from Kareem Tamimi, 1 goal from Kalen Kalonji. Pavlovsky down, getting up off the turf for Kalonji. Down here to Demise. You see they're already attacking again. Good one time, back to Tiente, across, shot, hits the top bar.
Oh, how did that
and
not go in?
somehow it stays out of the back of the net.
Under the side of the bar.
Grant Carr headed that one forward, gets a tackle back. Tiente will come back over here to Demise and Kamani Irving. Tiente. Demise working down the near line. Gives it to Kareem Tamimi. Thought about releasing it. Held on to it. Demise now trying to get it to Kalen Kalonji. That one is going to roll out. Will be a throw for Kalonji Pro Profile.
It is amazing that they do have a player like Thierry Jules that can come on. I see him warming up on the other side there.
Kalen Kalonji is down on the turf. Expect that he's probably going to be subbed, and it looks like Thierry Jules is going to be the substitution.
Yeah, it looks like Kalen has a cramp issue. Thierry Jules is going to bring a more firepower in for the offensive side for Kalonji Pro Profile.
And you have to remember, Thierry Jules is 6'8".
8, yeah. Big rascal.
He is a massive forward.
Quite a presence in the attacking third. And he's quick as well for a big man.
No trainer came on for Kalen Kalonji, so he is not having to come off of the field of play. Back underway here in the 72nd minute. Odard has it. Awanja Medard really came on late in the season for Kalonji Pro Profile, scored a brace in 3 straight games. Kalen Kalonji lays it off to Tiente. That one is out and over and be a goal kick for Georgia Athletic.
Yes, in Tiente's range, just miscue, couldn't get on.
Another substitution geared up for Georgia Athletic. Like Dre said early in this match, both teams can have up to 7 substitutions per match. They do not have to be in scheduled windows like you would see in the professional ranks of soccer. They can be throughout the 90 minutes. Kalonji win it off of Georgia Athletic. Get it forward to Kalen Kalonji. He's trying to get it to Blake White. Blake White gives it to that was Medard, but Medard was off of the mark. And here comes the substitution, I believe. Is he going to allow it? Sitter is going to allow the substitution. And it looks like it's going to be Kasut who's coming off. So as of right now, it'll be Kasut's end of the season if it stands the way it does right now with this 3-0 victory for Kalonji Pro Profile. Munoz taken down by Demise. No foul was called. Back to Munoz. That will go all the way back to Sarmiento. Munoz. Montero over here to the near side. Looking for a chance to get the ball through. Not able to do so. Munoz holding off 2 men. Goes back. Good one-time forward for Georgia Athletic. Threads the needle forward. Marin holds off the 2 men. Cleared. And out for a goal kick. Kalonji defending by all means necessary there to not allow Georgia Athletic to get back into this match.
Yeah, that ricochet could have gone anywhere, but it goes harmlessly over for a goal kick.
We're just about through 75 minutes. We are going to have the second hydration break, it appears.
Yeah, I would say that, time is running out, but after last night, I'm not making any promises.
Are you saying that Dalton United and UMA game, again, it gave you some PTSD?
I got to say, yeah, I put it out there earlier in the game that, it's not insurmountable. You're down 4-1 late in the game. You get 1 goal, it can make a difference. You get into a little bit of a roll here. I never really expected it to happen, but they got that penalty to bring it to 4-2. 89th minute, scored another one, and then got the equalizer in stoppage time.
And it was just crazy because it was 1-0 UMA, then it was 1-1. Then all of a sudden it was 4-1 Dalton. And you were like, okay, well,
that's it.
Dalton United's got it. And then UMA gets a goal back, and you're like, okay. Yeah. And then they get another one back, and you're like, oh, this is interesting. And then right at the end of stoppage time in regulation, they get the goal. I believe it was the 98th minute.
Yeah, it was really, really late. It's the last kick of the regular time. And the same thing really happened in extra time. It ebbed and flowed back and forth. Lead changed hands twice at the end of each of the extra time periods. And then, of course, the penalty kicks, it was the same sort of story, back and forth. One side would miss, the other side would miss, and then UMA finally got the best of them, converting the last available spot kick to get on to the next round.
We will kick off here in the 77th minute after the hydration break. with a goal kick for Kalonji Pro Profile. Kalonji Pro Profile currently lead 3-0 against Georgia Athletic here in the UPSL Georgia Conference Premier Division. This is round 1 of the playoffs. As it stands right now, Kalonji will move on to the next round. They will take on UMA next week here at Charlie Jordan Field on the campus of Shiloh High School in Snellville, Georgia. Potros FC will be home at Marietta High School in Marietta, Georgia to take on Georgia Revolution. We'll see where the finals end up. Here's an opportunity for Georgia Athletic, because it's always the high seed that will have home field advantage throughout the playoffs here in the Premier Division. Demise with a fantastic run forward, going about 80 yards himself, lays it off to Medard, who gives it back to Demise. Demise wants it! And he pulls that one over the bar.
Only the final ball was missing.
Demise almost did everything on that opportunity.
That give and go pass was sublime.
Delgado will get us back underway here in the 79th minute. Kalonji Pro Profile looking to potentially make some wholesale changes here late in this match.
I do wonder if we will see Thierry Jules, almost call him Henri.
You wouldn't be wrong. He's a really good player. We had the opportunity to see him. Not only he won that final for Atlanta City, and then after it in postgame proposed
to his fiance, yeah.
now wife. Now here comes Kalonji Pro Profile yet again. Saved by Delgado.
Oh, nice save from Delgado. Critical save. You got to keep Kalonji out and try to, just like UMA did last night, get a goal back, get the momentum swing.
That was Blake White who had that opportunity.
But they're going to have to try to do something quickly here. We know it can be done.
Georgia Athletic just not able to find anything was Hernandez. That ball will be offsides.
Yeah. 80th minute now.
Good offside trap by Kalonji Pro Profile there as the Georgia Athletic man gets a cramp. Like we said, very, very hot, very, very humid down here in the Atlanta, Georgia area.
Yeah, sportsmanship there. The Kalonji players trying to help them out there.
With the heat index during the midday of today, it was near 100 degrees.
Like he'll be able to continue.
I see a lot of action happening over on the Kalonji bench.
Yeah, I think some changes will be coming in short order here for Kalonji.
Not too many substitutions left for Georgia Athletic. Good ball out by Sakui to Demise. He gives it off to Kareem Tamimi. He holds up, gives it right back to Kamani Irving. Irving has space to move forward. The center back makes it through center circle, lifts a ball forward.
Oh, look at that ball.
Delgado waits and holds back. Blake White is going to be called offside. I say he had way too much room to move forward like that to be onside. He had about 40 yards all to himself. Now here comes wholesale changes for Kalonji Pro Profile.
It's like 4 subs there, I think.
See Pavlotsky, Kalen Kalonji.
Yeah, I don't see
Medard coming off. And it'll be Kareem Tamimi who will be the 4th player that comes off.
What a game he's had.
One
Tamimi.
substitution for Georgia Athletic. Yeah, Kareem Tamimi, just time and time again, just so classy. He's the type of player that off of the field, he is so gracious. He will talk to you, no matter how competitive a match will be, he will always have a smile, and he will always take the time to answer any question that you have.
Yeah, he's a class individual. It's good to have him in the game. Need more players like him. His demeanor.
Georgia Athletic fighting here to get back into this match. Munoz will switch the play over to the far side, controlled. This one getting to Morales. Morales not able to maintain. He fouls the Kalonji player. Takes a moment to come up off of the deck. I believe that is Chari, who was down.
I know Kalonji at this point is going to probably try to kill off the game.
Cleared out of there by Pavlotsky and Chari.
Got space down this right side here.
As Josh Pavlotsky is on, now that Sam Pavlotsky is off. A lot of family in this Kalonji Pro Profile team. Back to Tiente. He'll go over to the far side. Good one time. Trying to get around, earning the foul.
You could have called that either way, I think.
Yeah, that was a good hand fight between both teams, both players.
Handsy.
Here comes another substitution for Kalonji. It'll be the end of the day for Chari.
Maybe holding Thierry for another day, maybe.
And Chari has really, this is his first season with the Premier Division team for Kalonji, and he's done really, really well to earn that starting spot as a left back for them. Pavlotsky going back to Grant Carr. Over here to Kamani Irving. Hilton, who just came on, trying to get through, not able to do so. Georgia Athletic win the ball.
Yeah, turned into an individual instead of a team player there.
Munoz will go back to Montero. He'll go back to the defensive line. Munoz. Tiente gives it over to Braden Kalonji. So we lost to Pavlotsky, got one back, lost to Kalonji, got one back.
Yeah, a lot of blood relatives here, but there's also a sort of a brotherhood amongst all the Kalonji players. Starts from the youth academy on up for them.
And that's one thing that both teams really do have a academy system. This Kalonji Pro Profile one is quite extensive and has been around for a long time. Tony Tiente trying to nick that one forward, not able to do so. It'll go out to Delgado.
Yeah, he had an option here to the right I think would have been better.
We have the potential to see this Kalonji Pro Profile system come into not only the academy ranks when the academy system launches here in the Georgia Conference, but we may also see Kalonji put forth a women's team in the women's division here in the Georgia Conference next season.
Yep, that is true. They have committed that, as a matter of fact, and so they'll be joining the ranks with the current women's teams that's competing for this in this summer.
Not able to run that down. It goes out. It will be a throw for, well, it was technically offsides, but either way, it will be a ball for Georgia Athletic. Back underway from Delgado. Gutierrez, he'll go forward, get it right back. Surveys the field, looking for somewhere to go. He'll come here to the near side, chested down by Praska. And goes back to Velez. Velez challenged. He'll be able to get it back to Delgado. Delgado trying to push his men forward. Hernandez, good touch, almost lost it to Demise. I thought Demise was going to get that on that run. Forward.
Oh, good little flick out to the right side there.
Hernandez, go back and come over here to Gutierrez. Velez has space to move forward if he so wishes. Munoz gives it right back to him. Tried to go down to Praska, but that one was way off the mark, and it goes out for a throw
I
for
don't think they were on
Kalonji.
the same page there. I think he thought he was going to break long there, and he went square instead.
We're through 88 minutes. It's Kalonji Pro Profile 3, Georgia Athletic 0. Here in the UPSL Georgia Conference Premier Division, round 1 of the playoffs. Whoever wins the playoffs will earn the right to step into the national playoffs, represent the Georgia Conference. Kalonji Pro Profile able to do that in the last 2 national conferences. Will it be it for a third time? They're the only team from the Georgia Conference who's made it into the Final Four of the Premier Division. And that one almost found its way through. Delgado was locked in like stone.
But it changed direction so quickly.
But this Kalonji Pro Profile team, since the inception of the Premier Division, the only team from the Georgia Conference that's made it to the Final Four. They ended up 3rd that season as it was in Arizona. This will be an in-swinger for Kalonji. We're in the 90th minute. Here comes the in-swinger all the way through, headed, but it's going to be headed out for a goal kick.
90th minute now.
Last 2 seasons, Kalonji Pro Profile were knocked out of the national tournament in the first round of 32, by what would end up being the national champions, Soda City FC out of the Mid-Atlantic. First team to ever win back-to-back national titles.
Taking a little bit tougher road to get back to that spot Soda City does this season. A lot more competition in their own division right now.
Yeah, Mid-Atlantic division is very, very competitive this season.
Well, these division playoffs are amazing, and it only gets more interesting as it gets to the national picture. Everybody that's playing in the national picture is going to be a real formidable foe.
Long ball out from Delgado, but that one way off the mark. It'll go out for a goal kick. As we're through 90 minutes, we'll see how many minutes of stoppage time we'll get here in the second half.
We've had the hydration break, a few goals, some injuries, so we should have a few minutes.
Could end up like the first half, where we had about 6 minutes of stoppage time. We'll see if we get the same this time. Tiente will go over to the far side. Demise has moved over. Lays that one off. Shot taken, and it's in the back of the net. Just like that.
Fire.
Kalonji Pro Profile get another one.
I mean, I was almost distracted by the player that had gone down, and then just the ball just caught fire as it went into the back of the net there.
And I believe that was Zane Hilton with that goal. Take a look at this one, Dre.
It's amazing. Comes through, and it's just like another approach that Kalonji's done all game long here. Comes through, a little collision there. That's what I was looking at, and then just a right-footed shot. No one closed him down. He had to, it was a long range, but he took his time and just aimed and buried that.
And Delgado was almost just another chance that he was a statue like that last opportunity. Just didn't move.
Not Delgado's fault. I think that you got to ask questions about the defenders there. When you give that kind of space, you're inviting players like that to take a crack at it, and boy did he.
Georgia Athletic trying to do something late in this match, as we're already through regulation. We're in stoppage time in the second half. Praska getting the ball across, cleared by Carr to Ciente.
Had two options in there, just couldn't reach him.
Released by Kalonji. Comes back into play by Hernandez. He moves it forward to Munoz. Hilton comes back, defends that. Demise going down with an elbow. It looked like to the face. No card issued. We haven't had a single card issued in this second 45. The referees for today doing a sensational job. And that is going to do it for tonight's matchup. We end here at Charlie Jordan Field on the campus of Shiloh High School with the score: Kalonji Pro Profile 4 and Georgia Athletic 0. Just an all-around professional performance by Kalonji. It was 0-0 at half, and that second half they just pulled away.
Yeah, I think that just shows you the type of team Kalonji Pro Profile is. They can turn it on at certain times when they need to. And I think there was always going to be an uphill battle for Georgia Athletic. But this result, I think, is a fair reflection of the game itself. No shame for Georgia Athletic. They were able to earn a place in the playoffs when they missed it by 1 point last season. They, much like Albion did this season, they had a points deduction that affected them, and it was a legitimate points deduction. But this year, they turned things around, got there, so Coach Michele has something to build on for next season, and we'll see how that goes for them. But right now, Kalonji Pro Profile has the favored position of going on to the next round.
And here are the fixtures of round one. Georgia Revolution with that 3-1 victory over Lamino, Georgia. Dalton United falling in penalties to UMA. Potros FC winning against Pachuca, Georgia. And Kalonji Pro Profile defeating Georgia Athletic. So next week in round two, it will be Kalonji Pro Profile here at Charlie Jordan Field taking on UMA FC. Potros FC will be over at Marietta High School to take on Georgia Revolution. Winners of those will move on to the finals, and we will see who will represent the Georgia Conference in the national tournament. So for Andre Bomar, I've been Larry Weaver. Thank you for watching this UPSL Georgia Conference action right here on the UPSL Soccer channel. Do not forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time right here on UPSL Soccer.
This has been a presentation of the UPSL. Any use of this broadcast without the written consent of the Atlantic Soccer Media Group is prohibited.